All right, so today we're diving into something called Whitecore. Now, it calls itself a universe of diverse ideas. So what does that actually mean? And, maybe more importantly, why might a universe of ideas be exactly what we need in this incredibly noisy digital world we're all living in? Let's jump in and find out.
Let me start with a feeling I'm pretty sure we can all relate to. Are you ever just exhausted by the internet? I mean, that constant barrage of notifications, content the algorithm thinks you want, and just sheer chaos. It really feels like our focus is being pulled in a million directions all at once, and finding the signal in all that static, it's getting tougher and tougher.
Well, the project we're looking at today was actually created as a direct response to that exact feeling of chaos. It's an attempt to build an entirely different kind of digital space, what its creators are calling, you guessed it, a universe of ideas.
And this right here is the core invitation. So instead of yet another platform designed to hijack your attention for as long as humanly possible, the whole idea here is to create an environment that actually encourages clarity and fuels your curiosity. It's a really interesting shift from, mindless consumption to mindful exploration.
So that brings us to the why. What is the core philosophy that's really driving this whole thing? I think understanding the mission behind it is absolutely key to figuring out what makes this project so different from pretty much everything else out there.
The official mission statement is this: Whitecore is the space where every context finds a home. Now, that word, context, is so crucial here. It tells us that this whole thing, as a content channel and a community, isn't about boxing itself into specific niches or topics. No, it's about creating a home for any framework of ideas, no matter how different they might seem on the surface. And if you had to boil that entire mission down to just one single word, it would be this one: versatility. That single idea is the engine behind it all. And just think about how rare that is online. Most channels, most blogs, they succeed by being super specific. The goal here is the opposite: to handle a whole bunch of different subjects without falling into the very chaos it's trying to escape. That's a pretty bold ambition, if you ask me.
Okay, so if versatility is the why, that immediately brings up the next big question. How, right? How in the world do you build a space that can hold literally everything without just becoming another noisy, cluttered feed? The answer, and this might surprise you, actually starts with the design.
The answer is in its really stark black and white look. Now, this isn't just a random style choice, it's a core principle. By intentionally stripping away the distraction of color, the design forces you to focus on the content itself. It's aiming for clarity, it's demanding simplicity, and it gives you that feeling of infinite potential, kind of like looking at a blank page. This slide really just lays the whole philosophy out side by side. Over on the left, you've got our default digital experience: the noise, the endless scroll, the complexity, the algorithmic chaos. Then on the right, you have the promise of Whitecore, a very deliberate turn towards simplicity and focus, all built on the belief that real potential is only found when you strip away all those distractions.
Okay, so we've gone over the philosophy and the design principles, but what does that actually mean for the content? What can you really expect to find in this space?
What's so interesting here is the focus on the qualities of the content, not just the topics themselves. The promise is fresh perspectives, which is a direct shot at all the recycled outrage bait we see everywhere. Then you've got content shaped by curiosity, not by what's trending or what an algorithm thinks you'll click on. And finally, a welcoming community, which really suggests a focus on constructive dialogue instead of constant arguments.
And this is where that core idea of versatility really comes to life. The range of topics is intentionally huge, from science and tech all the way to creative arts and self-growth. It's a very clear attempt to live up to that mission that every context finds a home. You're creating a single space where you can explore things deeply, but also very broadly.
So, after exploring the why, the how, and the what of Whitecore, we get to the final part: the invitation for you to join in. The call to action is really simple: subscribe. And I think framing it as a journey is very telling. It suggests this isn't some static, finished product. It's a growing space that you're invited to help build, to be part of creating that very clarity we've been talking about from the very beginning.
And this whole thing ends with a question, which I think is just the perfect takeaway. It turns the entire concept right back around to you. In a space that's designed to give every core idea a spotlight, what's yours? What's the topic or the question or the idea that you think deserves a closer look? It's a really powerful final thought for a project that's built entirely on the power of curiosity.